This is part 2 of the Audio Club video on amplifier and speaker matching. And in the first episode we talked about matching a Quicksilver amplifier to either a full range driver speaker of a smaller cabinet size or a small monitor speaker like the Ryan 610s. But I haven't told you that this combination with the Quicksilver and this small size full range driver combo, it will go down to the high 30s in frequency response, but it will not give you high volume levels. So this combination will give you a really nice tone, superb violin. So if you are a violinist or you are interested in violin, the violin tone from this combination is really fantastic. Piano is also fantastic, but you are reserved or you are restricted to a lower listening volume. If you live in an area where there's no background noise, like really quiet neighborhood, and you have a decent hearing, so you do not have any injuries that requires loud listening levels, then this is a combination, this is a pairing of amplifier and speakers which will give you substance, like a really deep connection to the music, and it's really weird that you do not even crave that loud volume. So I just listened to an OMD concert with these at like a medium volume, and it gave like a really good concert experience. It did not have the lowest octaves, so no low 30s and 20s, but it really still gave a fantastic experience, and it's surprising. So what this system can do is play quietly. When you look at the Wilson audio system and then Dagostino combo, which can play ridiculously loud, this type of setup usually has a big fail check mark at low listening levels. You never ever see anyone demo these at such volumes that you would listen to at your home. They are exclusively listened to at ear-splitting volumes that you cannot tolerate beyond 10 minutes. And that's because these are optimized for that kind of volume. So when you listen, when you crave that, then you are logged into a choice, into a high-speed run that really, as a side effect, destroys your hearing very short term if you abuse it. But if, let's say, you have like tons of money to burn and that's why you buy this system, but you are a super busy businessman, so you can listen to it once a month, then you are safe, because your ears can recover after that. But if you plan on listening to it every day, every night at really high volumes, then kiss your ears goodbye. However, with this type of setup, a Quicksilver amp and a small full range driver, this is a quarter wave folded pipe. With this combination you can play music extremely quietly. It doesn't bother your neighbors, doesn't bother anyone, and as I can tell you, if you listen softly, that engages the brain much more versus listening at high volumes. So this is more, so if you are like, let's say, a classical musician and you play violin, you play piano, then this is for you. If you like super loud jazz and you listen to amplified music, mostly you're not interested in chamber music or in piano, violin, natural sound, you just want just high sound pressure, then that sort of combo is your ultimate choice. That's what you want to have. However, the other combo is when you match the Quicksilvers, and not just these, but any kind of Quicksilver amps with, let's say, a Ryan 610. Those are bookshelf speakers. Those can play much louder than the speaker, even though they look as if they are half the size of these. Their only drawback is that I listen to them with the Ryan on top here, and these guys, if I listen to them quietly, then actually these have more bass than the Ryans, but you cannot play these high level. But you can play the Ryans, which are not here at the moment, so you can play the Ryans with the Quicksilvers at pretty high volumes, and they can handle it. But of course, because they are small size speakers, their bass or low end output will be squeezed. So as you increase volume, mid-range and high frequencies increase with the volume, but low end output cannot catch up, because as we talked about, those big splashes, big waves, the big sound waves require a big volume, big cabinet volume to push the air out, and if you have a monitor bookshelf speakers, they cannot do that. So they cannot create such huge waves. Those waves will start to distort and as eventually saturate. So you can mix or match the Quicksilvers with Ryans or any kind of speakers. It will be a fantastic combination, and the Quicksilvers will really show the true colors of your speakers. If they have colorations, defects, then I can tell you it's not the Quicksilver's fault. It shows that something wrong with your speakers, or I would say maybe not wrong with your speakers, but they put some colorations. So your speakers are far from neutral, and the quickies will reveal what sort of deviations, what sort of tricks the manufacturers made. And in later audio club meetings, we'll touch base on what sort of tricks manufacturers do to produce their unique sound. So now let's make an analogy on speakers and amplifiers. And as I said, Harry Pearson came up with visual analogies to describe sound. So that's what I will do now. I will give you a visual analogy for amplifiers and speakers, and I will use dancing as the analogy. So to create dance, we need a leader and a follower, which is traditionally a man and a woman. And the leader in our case here is the amplifier, right? Is the leader, and the follower is the speaker. So the leader gives the power, and the follower has some sort of sensitivity. As in dance, followers have sensitivity. There are very sensitive followers who can respond to the tiniest cues from the leader, and there are followers who are just really massive, or I would not say not massive, because it's not due to the weight of the follower, but it's all about the competency. So I've been dancing Argentine tango for almost a decade, and I can tell you that that for followers, ladies, if you have little weight issues, it doesn't mean anything. If you are a good dancer, you will feel lighter to your leader than a skinny girl like that who doesn't know how to dance. So the dancing experience is determined by the skill and not really the weight. But for now, let's just use the analogy of just body mass. So imagine that this speaker, even though it has a decent sensitivity, so it's almost 94 dB, so which is like not bad, but it has an impedance minimum of under 2 ohms, which is just insanely low. So it means that you need, like, if this was a dancer, you would need immensely strong leader to make this follower move. So if we want to picture the one master chronosonic as a dancer, then this lady fits the bill. So imagine just a massive lady with the size of the Wilson chronosonic, 900 kilograms, over 2,000 pounds, speakers, like imagine a lady, a dancer who is that size on the dance floor. And actually in real life, maybe she's a very capable dancer. She's this particular lady is an opera singer, and I think and I truly believe she must be a fantastic, phenomenal singer. So there's no negatives about that. I'm just using this as an example. If she would be an Argentine, if she would dance Argentine tango, what kind of leader we would need to partner her with to have a performance. And we would need to partner her up with Eddie Hall, probably. He is the human equivalent of the 6,000 watts amplifier. Eddie Hall is a strongman. He holds the deadlift record, and he lifts 500 kilograms. That's 1100, over 1100 pounds. So that's truly insane. And this guy, he's like tremendously huge and just impossibly insanely strong. And the 6,000 watt amplifier is his transistorized analog. But imagine them on the dance floor. If it would be like an Argentine tango competition, they would not rank anywhere close to the top. If when they danced on the stage, they will be visible even from the 100th row for sure. So you can feel a stadium, and even from the farthest point you can see them, just like a Wilson speaker Dagostino combination. You can hear it from the other end of your village. It's so loud. This combination would be so flashy that you can hear it everywhere. But I mean, see them from anywhere. But I can guarantee one thing, that is they are not skilled dancers, and partially because they are not built to be skilled dancers. So their body types and their life experiences, the directions they went to, are very different from what is required from a dancer. There is nothing wrong with them. I love both of these people. Actually, I don't know this lady, but I have a hunch how her voice is, and it must be truly spectacular. And Eddie Hall, he has a YouTube channel. I follow him. He's an amazing guy. And but returning back to Argentine tango, which is I would say probably the most intricate, most complex, most involved human emotional dance form that humanity has created. If we want perfection for that, then we do not need to look to the analogy of the Wilson speaker, but we need to look at Guillermina Quiroga. She is the queen of Argentine tango, and we had the fortune to have her on the island. And as a side note, I just add that we have a fantastic Argentine tango community here in Hawaii. We have 3 schools, all are led by world-class instructors, and they host every year over 10 of the world's finest dancers who fly here and give us seminars. So if you want to learn Argentine tango, Hawaii is an incredible place. And we had the fortune to have Guillermina here and teach us a seminar, and I can tell you it's an amazing experience. And but if we would pair her with Eddie, that would not be a dance show, it would be a freak show. When you watch her dance with her dancing partner, yes, that is truly amazing. And so in this relationship, or in this relation, Guillermina, she represents a very sensitive speaker, loudspeaker, such that produces that needs only very little current to drive, and responds to the slightest, tiniest signal sent by the leader. And that's the optimal relationship you want in any expressive art. You want the power source as small as possible to elicit as big response as possible, and then you can see something really, really wonderful coming out of it. So in our amplifier speaker terms, this combination is a low power amplifier with a very sensitive speaker, a horn speaker most probably, and this combination is the high power and high current demand combo. You have a very different dynamic. This is truly spectacular. I would pay money to see them dance, really. But really, as a dancer, this is the only one that is a viable combination for art expression. And it's because when you amplify the signal to a 6000 watt level, you introduce 6000 times more distortion into it compared to using only 1 watt. And yeah, you use a lot of feedback, maybe like 20, 30, 40 dB of feedback, but that means that you don't amplify the signal 6000 times, you maybe amplified it 1,000,000 times to cut it back down to that 6 times level. So you are at a disadvantage of amplifying a signal 1,000,000 times compared to a low power amplifier. And that means that you are introducing 1,000,000 times greater error. And then you use error correction to cut down that error. But this is a principle of physics, that you cannot remove all the errors that were introduced during the amplification. It is impossible. We'll talk to you guys a little bit more about physics, is that when you have a change in energy level, an amplification is a change in energy level. So in physics terms, it's a change in enthalpy. A change in enthalpy in a system always brings with it a change in entropy, which means a change in information content. So if you amplify a signal 1,000,000 times for the Dagostino compared to a single-ended amplifier with 1 watt, then there's a commensurate change in the information content as well. And that is not the amplifier's distortion, that's just the laws of physics. The amplifier's distortion is on top of that. Feedback removes amplifier's distortion, but it cannot undo the change in entropy. So whatever change has been made to the signal, it's done forever, and it cannot be undone. And applying more THD to it to fix the issue, we are again changing the enthalpy of the system, and that brings forth further changes in the information content. So this setup, despite being able to provide us tremendous power, tremendous control, it also brings a very sharp change in the information content of the signal that it pumps through. And if you listen to it at 120 dBs of volume, at that level the ear is incapable of making small differences, small distinctions. That's why poor bands, poor quality bands play very loud at wedding. The wedding music is super loud because they cannot hire the best bands, and at super loud volumes you can't hear that they are not playing right. And that's the same thing with really high power amplifiers. At really high power, our ears are not in the quality mode but in the quantity mode, so we get very different content. So this is more like eating like a million McDonald's sandwiches or burgers, while this scenario or this scenario is just eating one steak versus a million hamburgers. And this couple here are Laura Danna and Sebastiana Costa. They are also from Buenos Aires, just like Guillermina, and they are one of the most amazing dancers and teachers I ever seen. They come every year to Hawaii, and if you haven't seen them dance, I would suggest, even if you are not a tango dancer or not a dancer, but you are just an audiophile and interested in arts expression, in music and dance, you should really see them once in your lifetime, because it's truly a life-changing experience. They have a lot of videos on YouTube of their performances, but I have seen them dance from on the dance floor, and on the YouTube videos you cannot see those fine movements that they make, and the energy of the dance is not captured on film, because the film that 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, it cannot register the dynamics, the energy. So they also represent the amplifier speaker combination of a high efficiency speaker, which doesn't have impedance dips, like for example this big ATEX speaker here. It has the 16 ohm Alnico drivers, and I measured its impedance curve and it dips to 15 ohms. So it's extremely benign. Its efficiency is above 100 dB per watt at 1 meter. So this corresponds to Laura, because Laura is an extremely sensitive speaker, so she doesn't need much power to make her move. So she is the most amazing dancer I ever danced with. It's I just can't explain it, or it has to be experienced. Most men never experience that in their lifetime. And going back to speakers, so to drive such a speaker, it's enough to have a 1 watt amplifier. So there you see that amp. It has the gigantic transformer with 700 watt supply, and it's a single-ended KT66 amp in triode mode, no feedback. I'm running it with these ATEX, and its output is less than 1 watt RMS into these speakers. Yet it can play at ridiculously loud volumes without distortion. It's just like and it goes into the subsonics. So when Greg, Erwin and Jimmy, you heard them, then at that time of break-in and with that crossover I had done, they went maybe down to 40s, but now they definitively go down to subsonics, and it's just outstanding. And also Jimmy, at that time you heard them, that was when I had the 807 tubes in the amp, and the power output was 1/3 of a watt RMS. So that's what you guys heard. So Erwin, when you heard that Mike Oldfield concert, that was like a live concert with insane bass energy in it, that was with 300 milliwatts. now I have almost a watt RMS and subsonics, which I haven't had before. So going back to the dancers, so imagine that amplifier which put out 1 watt RMS. Now we try to match it instead of these sensitive speakers with a Wilson audio speaker, and then you have this scenario. And if you would listen to that, or you would see this couple dance, you will be laughing, because it's a freak show. So the lady is probably 10 times the size of Sebastian, and it will be really spectacular, but it won't even resemble dancing, because the lady has never learned how to dance Argentine tango, doesn't know the cues, doesn't have the sensitivity to follow the lead. And even though he's probably the world's best leader, and the dance will not even register in any competition, and not even just any competition, but in any kind of dance floor situation. So a speaker that has like a monstrous current need can drive the best amplifier down and drag it down to the mud. And yeah, so basically that's what I wanted to say now. It's that amplifiers and speakers do not mix and match. So when you have the sensitive speaker, then they are best used with a sensitive amplifier, because if you use a sensitive speaker with an insensitive amplifier, let's go back to here, then you will hear with this combination what I was talking about when I told you about the information loss, because the signal is amplified so many times, the information content is changed so much by that extreme change of energy levels, that these speakers will tell you that. And the combination will sound very artificial, because the signal that comes out being altered by going through such immensely radically different energy levels, it's going to be shown by a speaker that really tells you what the amplifier is. But when you have a speaker which requires like tons of currents, has monstrously complex crossover, that speaker will feel very comfortable with that amplifier, because they speak that they are built to compensate each other's weaknesses and work with each other's strength. So in this case you have a fantastic combination if you want to play something really loud. And also in this case, when you have, for example, a Quicksilver and a simple small speaker, it will play an excellent at lower volume levels, so that's perfect for small rooms, chamber music, even really good at for rock music if you play not at really high levels, just mid levels. And this situation, the Altex with a 1 watt single-ended amplifier, but this is not any kind of single-ended amplifier. This is an extremely high quality amplifier. I built and designed it. It's not bragging, just I did it. And if you want to buy something that is of that kind of quality, it would be like a monstrously expensive amplifier, and that type of combination will give you a really music that really connects